Hey, y'all. Welcome to Eagle Talk. We are here live again. I am with my business partner, Alex Henson. Y'all know I'm trying to bring a couple of male entrepreneurs to the table. Rosemary's taking a couple of weeks off, so I've slid some of my guys in. This is Alex Henson again. He is one half of the equity firm. We own a real estate company together, and I invited him out to let's do an episode and talk that real estate talk. What's happening, homeboy?
Sir, man. Trying to get to it, man, you know.
Yeah, so we're gonna I don't wanna get real detailed into real estate. I wanna hit some points today and really just bring them into our world.
Yeah.
Think they're ready for that? It's gonna be a little difficult.
Raw uncut.
So I own Lewis Locations, which is a real estate company. He owns Solar Valley. About 4 or 5 years ago, we came together and started the equity firm.
Yep.
One of our first deals was a package of 17 in Clarksville, Texas. You want to tell them a little bit about that deal?
Yeah. It was quite interesting too because, Corey had kind of made a comment. He's like, "Listen, man, this is at the beginning of the pandemic." He was like, "Look, there's gonna be two types of people that come up out of here." He's like, "You come out," and it was funny because at that time there was a lot of stuff going on the internet. So he's like, "Look, there's gonna be people that's gonna be bad and broke. There's gonna be some people who are gonna get rich and looking good." He's like, "We just gotta make some decisions." So, it was a couple months in, we kind of buckled down. And I'll be honest with you, I just kind of started really hitting the phones, for the banks. And I went through probably about 10, 11 banks looking for financing, looking at the situation where we thought we were gonna wholesale it. Mm-hmm. And it just turned out to be just a little bit more better for a whole. And just saw the equity in there and the growth. It was a small town. And I was like, "Hey man, we got this bank. They ready to get to it, do some networking," and we put it together, man. And it took about probably, I say maybe
remember about 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, really when it got down to it. And then the way we structured it was really great too. We ended up kind of leveraging some assets and stuff. I won't go on too often to it, but it was real creative. We didn't have to come to the table with a whole lot of paper.
No.
We just used some equitable assets as leverage, and it was real creative. And then at the end of the day, the appreciation, I think, was probably the best part. We were looking at really more than anything. I think this deal's worth probably I think we bought it for maybe 400.
About a little bit over 400 grand.
Yeah, it's worth probably about $1.5 million, maybe 7 now. Yeah. So it's really good, you know what I'm saying? So as you continue to kind of progress, I was really excited about it, especially going through the pandemic, kind of coming out of it.
Yes. So okay. So we went way on the other end, which is, I'm glad we did it that way. So we're going to talk about why real estate investing is important, but we want to give y'all a hard deal that took us 4 or 5 months to close, that we paid 400 and a half for. That 12 months later is now 1.5, 1.7.
Oh yeah.
We got some really nice brick houses in there, Section 8 tenants, and so on and so forth. So we're gonna talk a little bit about investing, but I want to give y'all a hard example of some 20-year plus real estate investors that had to put their heads together and make some stuff work.
Yeah.
So we are in our industry known as quote unquote wholesalers. We're technically investors because we own rentals also, but we wholesale a lot of property. You want to tell them about how that works?
Yeah, so really we do a combination of things. So we've kind of taken wholesaling into a maturation process.
Yeah.
So really what has happened now is, most people in a wholesale game, they contract a property and then we'll assign it. Mm-hmm. We've taken that and really just kind of built on it. So we take that process, put a little bit of wholetailing into it. Mm-hmm. We also acquire the asset, clean the titles, which something that I've kind of gone through a lot of times. And then, Corey has a great relationship with some key individuals at a bank. And, we kind of connected the dots. And really, again, COVID, I will not say it really turned it into turned us into some monsters.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
It did. It did.
Really just turned us into a whole situation. So we took that, really started leveraging with these real estate agents, which a lot of y'all real estate agents out there, y'all got to understand something. Y'all hold a huge key, and we like to hustle with those who really like to hustle, and then really understanding too, seller financing and things like that. And then also looking at rentals, because we ain't getting no younger, what I mean? It's kind of like one of those things. You look at the market, you see all the people which are fighting over these deals, and you see the appreciation, and Texas is a hotbed, no matter where you go. So we just kind of took those things and grew on it.
So you mentioned wholesaling an assignment of a contract. So pretty much, great example, you get a house under contract for $100,000. I assign it to you for $120, right?
Yep.
You bring in a $120, seller gets the $100, I get the $20. I never came to the table with $1. That's an assignment of contract. You talked about hoteling, right?
Yep.
$100,000 scenario. You simply just buy it, you put it on the market, you let the investors fight on it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Then we went into some owner finance stuff where we have really probably within the last 16, 18 months have turned it up. We've been able to win in that scenario. Let's talk about owner finance.
Yeah. So really, I'm gonna be very, very honest. Like, Texas is a very, very unique market. It's, Florida and Texas have a lot of parallels. What I like about Texas on a demographic note is that people have to really understand the labor market here. The labor market here is unlike other towns and other cities. You have a lot of Hispanic Latino workers, and they have a lot of cash.
Yeah,
so when you get with this type of individual, they don't have qualifications to go get a loan.
Right.
So you got to really present some real opportunities for them to be able to buy stuff. Now, they'll buy cash, and they will overpay in those sense, mainly because, they want to get a piece of this place called America. So at the same time, what ends up happening is there's owner finance. So they may not have all the money for the cash situation. So that's when terms are created. I had the luxuries of being through a number of courses over my tenure. And I'll be honest with you, owner finance is really, really powerful. It kind of insulates you from the market too, even no matter the market's bad or good.
So let's give a good owner finance that we have. Okay, let's give Odessa 13th Street.
Okay.
So we paid $30,000 for it.
30.
Guy lost it. We wound up picking it up. He wound up calling us, and he wanted to buy it back from us. We're selling it to him now on a note. I think it's 10-year terms.
Yep.
9.9% interest.
Yep.
We're selling it to him for $60,000. But here's the thing. He's giving us $30,000 down. So how much did I say we paid for the property?
30 grand.
30 grand. So every dollar that we put out, we getting it right back on the down, right? His terms are over 10 years, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. His note is about what?
I think it's going to be somewhere around right about $1,000-ish actually when everything's said and done. The taxes and insurance. Underlying, I think our P&I, I think we're getting like right up under, I got to look at it, but I want to say maybe like $500,000 a month. Yeah.
Everything else is taxes and insurance.
Everything else is taxes and insurance. So
let's just say it's $600 a month coming home. We're talking $7,200 a year for 10 years.
10 years.
Right? So he put down $30,000 on a house that we spent $30,000 on. Right? And he's going to pay $7,200 a year for 10 years. So that's $72,000 over 10 years.
Hey, you get your portfolio of those, you're doing good. You pull the sheets over your eyes, you ain't thinking of nothing.
That's an owner finance situation. And again, they're not all that sweet. That was just a real good one. Sometimes they put down 10%, 20%. But I wanted to bring him on to give some examples on how just not to hotel, how to wholesale, how to do a regular rental. He has 2 Airbnbs now.
Yep.
I have an Airbnb. I had one in Arizona. I let go during COVID. I gave an example on my IG a couple of weeks ago on a house that I bought in Dallas where the all in, I would be at about $1,700 a month. If I rented it out, it would rent for like $2,300, something like that. So $600 a month cash flow, which is great. But I was talking to Latasha, and she was telling me just how great the area was. And where that property is, it'll rent for about $300 a night, Airbnb. And for the sake of conversation, it'll probably net me about $6,000 a month instead of $600 a month on the Airbnb. Right there, so that's just a more creative way that we're doing with the real estate here in Texas.
And you gotta love Airbnb too, because you're getting paid, the day they check in. It's not like getting it on the first.
Yeah. So shout out to Latasha too, because she taught the masterclass and how to set it up, LLCs, if you own it, if you're renting it in the building, just some really good information that I liked about different ways to capitalize on real estate. Let's talk about just regular, good old residual income. Why do the people out there need residual income?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, as they say right now, cash is trash.
Cash is trash.
Better park that money into some notes, some rentals, some equitable assets.
Get that brick and mortar, y'all. And it allows you freedom. Do y'all see me today? This is a golf day for me.
Hey.
Right?
You got it.
I mean, I worked today, but it was a golf day for me. So, I mean, it allows you freedom when you got that mailbox money coming in. You're not worrying about punching in or punching out. It don't matter because that tenant is going to pay that rent.
That's the real deal. And honestly, people have to start thinking about things, down the road. We talk about that all the time, like we're looking at things down the road, playing long ball, understanding like, this is a marathon, that wholesale money is cool. And the quick cash, we making those 100, whatever, 1,000 a month, type situations. Those are really good. But, there are months that you're going to hit some of those titles. You waiting a lot of money coming in. And that cash flow does a lot of things. It will insulate you from a lot of stuff and cover your basics. And as you continue to build it, you just realize it's like, wow, I don't have to do anything today.
Yeah, so pretty much, what he's saying is just because the contract says it's going to close on the 25th does not mean it's going to close on the 25th.
Right.
You can have some rollover. That thing might not close to the 15th of next month.
Exactly.
But if you have 10 people that pay you on the first of the month on an average of, $600, now you make $6,000 whether that deal closed or not.
Exactly.
Right? That fee will come. It just might not come on the contract date.
Yeah. And, you, again, like I say, the other part about it is as you acquire more assets, you have to think about things like when you're making like large sums of money every month, something you want to think about is, okay, you put the money in your bank account, but you really want to ask yourself, what can I do to insulate myself also from taxes?
Yeah.
And that's the other part about owning the assets. The depreciation goes a long way. So as you go with your CPA, I won't go too far into that. That's a really big component as you start to be able to make money in the wholesale game, because believe me, ain't nothing worse than I wrote those checks for $60,000, $70,000 in a year.
Yeah, me and you both
feel that.
Yeah. So let's while we're talking residual, let's talk appreciation.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what I've learned, and I share with you guys all of the time. Years ago, I saw a YouTube video and they asked Warren Buffett about, if he was 60, 70 years younger, what would he do differently? And he said he would buy more single family assets. And I understood it as soon as he said it, because he's A, talking cash flow, he's B, talking appreciation. Meaning that, in the 1960s, if he bought a house for $25,000 in 2022, that house is probably worth $250,000, $300,000, $400,000. So that's exactly what he was saying. Yeah, y'all paid me all of these years, but at the end of the day, when I'm ready to cash out, I might cash out 10,000% on what I paid for that asset.
I'm gonna give him a little nugget here too. We was talking about earlier today. So check this out. Back to the portfolio that me and Corey had purchased back last year.
Yes.
To be honest with y'all, that portfolio has appreciated somewhere in the neighborhood. Actually, on a percentage note, I can look at it. It's at approximately, I'm gonna go ahead and say about 45 to like 55%. Insane. Okay. Understand something. When you own an asset and you have appreciation, you trying to avoid taxes, anything that you get that's income, you paying taxes on that money.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you know that you're cash flowing on the asset and you have a lot of equity, you can pull out that money tax free. Right. You might have a big purchase that you need to do. You might be wanting to do some different things. You can pull that money out and do a refinance. That's some of the power of equity. Now, yeah, it'll squeeze your cash flows because you have to pay the debt service, but now you have access to a large sum of capital, tax-free, to do some things.
Whatever you need to do with it.
Whatever you need to do.
Buy another property or reinvest it somewhere else.
Exactly. So that's one of the benefits of having assets with that have equity, with that appreciation.
Yeah. As you guys can see, we can talk. I mean, I talk to him 10 times a day about different deals and different scenarios.
I'm addicted to the game.
Yeah, and we're still a student to the game. I mean, we've been doing it. We've been doing it a long time, but I think that we're still learning different tips and tricks on how to acquire, how to dispo. No different than we bought a package of 11, fourth quarter last year, and the strategy changed as opposed to us just selling them off to us just going in there, popping new roofs on them and spraying everything white. Everything in there, we're going to spray white except the cabinets and stuff like that, of course.
Yep.
But then now you have somebody going in there looking at a clean slate and is willing to give you 20, 30% down. And again, we're going to 10-year term them again. 10-year
term again and going back to the cash flow all over again, man.
Yeah, so stuff like that, we learned in the last couple of years. Just kind of get creative. I was talking to Rosemary before she left, and it's a house in my subdivision. Actually, yesterday, that just closed it was listed for $715, closed at $815. That's how aggressive the market is. So you talking people getting 100,000 over ask, and it's just April.
Man, you got
what's going to happen when the kids get out of school? And you know the parents need to find somewhere to stay before the kids go, you know, to the new school in the new neighborhood. They're going to be willing to pay more and more and more. So that's, you know, that you have to stay ahead and know that type of knowledge to keep you ahead of your competition.
Yeah, you know, you said something else. I'll drop a little jewel too. You know, we were talking about getting creative. Something we stumbled upon. I don't know if you remember, this was a few weeks ago. You had a deal, and you looked at it. You was like, man, I'm getting the credit back on this one. And I was like, oh
yeah. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man. I was like, well, so I started looking at the whole situation.
We were the buyer.
We were the buyer,
but we got a credit. We got cash back at close.
So, you know, we kind of identified some things, being able to ask the lender for a little bit more money on the deal, where basically, you know, you're able to get a credit, and then you're not having to come to the money to the table with any money.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, damn, man. I was like, I had actually forgot about that, to be honest with you. But then I saw it. I was like, yeah, we're getting money back on the deal we buy.
Yeah.
That's solid though, man. I like to be able to do those things, and that's real estate for you.
Yeah, it is. And you know, no deal is the same.
Nope.
You know,
nope.
Just because, you know, last week you closed one and it happened like that. This week it can be a whole nother set of terms. You can have someone deceased on title and an heir or somebody's nephew pop up.
Agreed.
You know, and he want 20 grand out the deal from the seller. It's just, you know, you just don't know, man. And that's just, I guess, again, you're just constantly learning
all the time. And the thing about it is there's the leverage component. There's the depreciation on the tax side. Mm-hmm. There's the you know, the financing, and I mean, heck, I even taken a step further. You know, we do some things now, you know, where we'll wrap an underlying loan with another loan. You know, I mean, I had known of it. I hadn't actually performed it before. Yeah. But a lot of those things were just about, and I told the lender, I was like, hey, do you mind? I'm like, I'm just going to tell it to you.
It's happening now.
Yeah.
And the lender was fine with it.
And then we took it to another level. You know, we're like, hey, man, we're going to take it, because we're used to doing rehabs and flips, you know what I'm saying, and take it to the full retail. I mean, get to a whole nother level. We got into the Wall Street side of things, where we call it Main Street now. We're selling the loans. You know, you all probably have had a situation where you may be paying wells, and all of a sudden you get a letter in the loan, in the matter, and you paying a whole nother bank. Else, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother level of the game.
It's a movie you always ask me if I saw, which I did. I fell asleep the first time, but I saw this called The Big Short.
Big Short. Yeah.
That's a really good movie for you guys to watch if you just want to understand the paper game.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I know we down the street on y'all on the real estate side, but for those that know, you get it, and those that want to understand it to the level that we do, reach out, and that's why we're doing this episode, because I understand, especially with having a 21-year-old, soon to be 22-year-old in real estate, the importance of him starting early, which he has, but him starting aggressive early.
Agreed.
Right? You can do a deal a month, and that's cute, but you can say, you know what, from 21 to 25, my goal is to make, you know, $250,000 to $500,000 a year to obtain 5-10 rental properties. And when I'm 25, then I can sit back on my portfolio and make a decision, right?
Exactly.
As opposed to saying, hey, both my parents in real estate, I'm gonna let them spoon feed me these deals.
Yep.
And, you know, gonna hang on my boys every week.
And the thing about it is too, is the earlier you start, I think me and you kind of started around the same time. I bought my first condo at like 22.
Yeah, same here.
When's it?
22.
Yeah, I bought my first one at 22. I had a corporate job at the time. I bought my second property. I think it was in Arlington. I bought like a single family one. It was a rental. Mm-hmm. And then I bought my third one in Atlanta. That right there, going through those trial and errors, that put me in the game. Like, I actually am appreciative of all the things that happened back during that time.
The stuff that didn't go right.
Oh man, it set the tone. You know, I think I heard you all talking on another episode about how things were different back when we started. The game was very different back then.
Stated income, stated asset.
Yeah. Stated income was a thing, you know, and to learn and know that then, you know, it really, really set the tone for us now, you know, and it accelerates the growth big time too, because as you go through these challenges, you really have to be able to endure them, and, you know, your creative juices, you know, you're going to need them, you know, and sometimes I'll be out by myself and I'll think, you know what, I'll call Corey, I'm like, hey man, I thought about this. He'd be like, yeah, let me think it through, you know. So
sometimes it takes me a little time to process, because I don't like making Not always.
And I respect that 1,000%. It actually helps
decision.
me keep me on kilter too, because I've made a few rash decisions,
And you both.
impulsive.
Yeah.
But again, like I say, the balance of the partnership sometimes, like I say, it really does kind of keep things into play, and it kind of keeps it in the grand scheme of things too.
Yeah. So what if we can give them 3 nuggets, right?
Yeah.
What would we like to leave the people with? Just something to stay top of mind, or something to say, I need to go research that.
Yeah.
Or something to at least say, I need to reevaluate my situation right now.
That's a good one. I'm gonna hit you with something that I don't necessarily know if there's a book, and you might have more of a book. Definitely need to work on your mindset right out the gate.
Hands down. Yeah.
I don't care what you're doing. We can talk the money all day.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of hit it on the head a lot of times with the quote of, people see the glory, they don't know the story.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation today about that with a couple people, and I'm just like, look, you can't see just the end result. You got to be ready to endure. Mm-hmm. You got to love this. This is not something that you just kind of take lightheartedly. You got to really be addicted. Like when I say I was addicted to the game, like we are really addicted to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like we can talk it all day long. I think that's one of the first things. So anything that involves mindset is a core component, honestly. It's going to set the tone for you, because you're going to go through some things that's just going to be like, I don't know if I can really do this. But really goes back to, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Is it for your kids?
Yeah.
Is it for your grandmama? Is it for your mama? Is it for whomever, which is for? You have to really make that decision. I had to say consistency, anything that involves that for your mindset. Secondly, I think you got the book by Winning Friends and Influencing People. Dale Carnegie.
I think it is Dale Carnegie.
Yeah. That's another one. Networking.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how we end up meeting. You know what I'm saying? Through an associate of mine we do business with to this day.
And shout out to them people, man, that, because I like when people say, that people use the word networking freely, right?
Yeah.
But you still have those people that'll go to a party, go to a meetup, go to wherever it's supposed to be a social gathering, and just kind of stand there like a fly on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not networking. You're just here to kind of look around and see what everybody got on, or get you a free drink, or whatever the case may be. So shout out to the people that actually network. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the people that are making the connections, I say it all of the time. If I lost everything today and I had to start over, what would I do? I would network. I would go to I'm gonna go to that Bentley car lot. I'm gonna go to that high-end watch dealer. I'm gonna go wherever the money is. I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna sit right there like I'm supposed to be there. Exactly. And I'm gonna talk to as many people as I can, and I'm gonna be back on my feet in a little bit of time.
Yeah, it really is, man. I mean, too many times I have put myself in a position where I've ended up meeting somebody, like meeting the bank. You know what I'm saying? It was a network situation right there. One of my associates had went to an event, met a banker. The banker actually was like, cool, great. Gave him a loan, a line of credit. We had a drink, talked about it. Next thing I know, it blossomed into a, hey, how you doing? Come on in. They saw the deal. They were like, oh. Yeah. The next thing you know, we're having drinks. Come on in here. Yeah. I'm like, okay. No problem. So I think that's the next thing is networking.
I give them one while you think of yours.
Okay.
Don't be scared of partnership.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I think so many people think they have to do it alone. Yeah. And you really don't, because there's a lot of things that I'm weak at that you strong at. Yeah. Or even vice versa. But we balance each other
That's
out.
That leverage. Yeah. That's the leverage component.
That's definitely something I've learned in the last 5 years is I'm not afraid to split the pie. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take my 50 as long as you're good with your 50. Because if the deal didn't close and it was just me, now it's zero. I ain't even got nothing to split. Yeah. You know, so a lot of times we have to sit back and be like, man, I made X and you made X. Now let's go 10X. Let's do it 10 times instead of trying to do it one time alone.
You really start really digging into, and like I said, the learning component. I guess it goes. That's maybe another one is the education, and I guess that kind of is maybe one for myself. You constantly are learning in a partnership. You constantly are learning when you go through, these things through the business, and you just kind of like we were talking about. You're never going to stop learning. The deals are never the same. Right. And I mean, it's just a constant thing of learning and being able to educate yourself, because I mean, we've done commercial deals.
Yeah, we have.
I didn't know what I was.
I sold the gas. My right-handed guy 2 years ago, I sold a gas station. I had no idea. I've never sold a gas station before. I had to figure it out. So, I mean, Yeah, you 100% right.
I would tell you something. You talk about the maturation of a real estate investor. I was like, man, we selling agricultural land. I don't know what this is. Right. Man, we gonna grow some crops. Yeah. And I was like, I studied agriculture in undergrad, but I don't know. I don't remember. So that's a big deal. Like I say, continue to educate yourself. And again, that may be intertwined with the networking.
Yeah.
People you meet.
Yeah. Last one I'll give them is let me see, something that really worked for me. Last one I'm going to give y'all is...
I got to say it. YouTube. That YouTube
that's an easy one. That's an easy one, yeah.
But some people just like to go, they like to have a good time. They're not really trying to like really learn, man. Like you got to really want it. Like, but YouTube, man, is so cold. I can't tell you how many times I've learned stuff. I'm like, what?
But you got to be the type of person that takes notes to YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember I sent you that Grant Cardone interview a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And a week later, it was late. I was texting. He was like, I'm watching it again. You know what I'm saying? Because you're never going to remember everything, whether it's the first or the 10th time, unless you write notes and something you can go back and because you might miss something the third time or might catch something the third time that you missed the first time. Exactly.
And again, that goes back to the whole thing we started talking about when I first asked, and you asked about the nuggets. What's your why? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? It goes back to the mindset component. Like, really, really ask yourself, because when it gets tough, you're like, I don't understand it. You're going to find yourself rewinding and doing it like, oh, man, you know what? I think he made that. And then you talk to someone that you partnering with. Yeah. What did you think? And then he might hear from another perspective. And next thing you know, you just be like, I didn't even think about it.
That. For sure. For sure. All right, the last one I'm going to give him is something I've said a couple of times on here, but I'm going to say it again because I ain't scared. Study money. Study money. And it's as crazy as that sounds. Like, how can you study money? If you understand how money works, cash flow, appreciation, all of that is under the globe, right?
Yep.
Of studying money.
Yep.
If you understand those things, then I guarantee you how you use or even abuse your money would totally change if you understand how money works.
I'll give him one right here.
Give it to him.
You actually told me this and I wasn't doing it because I was so crazy with reinvesting. You was like, man, paying yourself first. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that to me and I wasn't doing it. I was reinvesting so much. I really was, I do nice things, cool little things for myself. Mm-hmm. I was like, I do need to pay myself first.
Yeah.
I think that, but also understanding the discipline of reinvesting appropriately. Mm-hmm. Gotta reinvest in your assets. Pay yourself first. And then, I'm not going to tell you no lie. I'll probably reinvest at minimum 60 to 70% of my money every month. Yeah. That's minimum. That's bare.
You got to work it. You have to, it makes them, and we're not saying take your bank account to $10, right? We say have a cushion. We get that. But if you're paying yourself first, it's going to grow organically anyway.
Yeah.
But at the other side of that, if you're reinvesting 50, 60, 70% of your money, if you can, then that's just a better way to spend. It just does not make sense for me to wake up every day and look at a number in an account and then wake up a month from that day and look at the same number.
Agreed.
That makes no sense.
I agree with you.
I need growth. I need some sort of asset. I need appreciation. I need some sort of cash flow. I need to see that money work for me.
Agreed. Yeah, that has to be something I had to just really grab a hold to. I was just reinvesting. Yeah, I was happy. Yeah. I was getting the compound effect. But I was like, Alex, all right, man, you went and got a pedicure. I'm like, what else you gonna do? I'm like, I do need to do some other things for self, besides just your basic needs. So do that. Yeah.
So that's our crash course, y'all. We just wanted to talk real estate this week. Understand that I'm 50% of the equity firm. He's 50% of the equity firm, and 100% of us together, we're buying houses. So if you got some houses
all
for
day
sale,
long,
if you got something for sale, please
we buying commercial too over here. Don't stop playing with them. Tell them.
We're looking at apartment buildings. We got 10 acres of land in Denison right now. We are buying single families. So no, on a serious note, if you guys know some sellers in distress, foreclosure, divorce, death, some debt, just need to cash out. Tenant moved out. They don't want the property anymore. Inherited the property. The owner lives out of state. They just paying the taxes on it. Whatever the situation is, if it's a seller in need, at least give us a call. Let us see if we can help. We're simple to work with. No banks, no inspections, no earnest money. Everything's cash. Titles closed. If the deal works for us, we're going to buy.
Absolutely. All day long.
Anything else?
I just gotta tell y'all this. Y'all just gotta get out here and get it. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Texas is wide open. There's a reason why y'all prices keep going up. Okay,
right.
Y'all better.
It is wide open.
Yeah, it's wide open.
It is wide open right
and
now.
I'm pumped up about it. So y'all better go ahead and get your some.
Yeah. So thank y'all for tuning in. We'll check in next week. Eagle Talk. We here. Peace, y'all.